Hello there everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am the Crimson T and today I'll be going over the June 2022 quarterly dev update for Diablo 4, which focus on the 5th and final class coming on release, and that's the Necromancer. So without further ado, let's go! It has finally been confirmed what the final class will be for Diablo 4, and that's the Necromancer. One of the classic Diablo 2 classes, Master of the Undead, Blood Magic, Bones, Curses and Golems. So exactly how does the Necromancer work in Diablo 4? Well, to start things off they use two different resources, Essence and Corpses. Essence is the primary resource and restores itself automatically at a slow rate, but there are basic skills used to fill out your Essence much faster, and this in turn allows you to use more spenders or stronger spenders. More on that later. Corpses come from dead enemies, but as you might have expected, there are other skills that help generate more corpses, so people who want to play more heavily with that resource are able to do so. In terms of their use, so far we only know about it serving to summon your skeleton minions and other skills like Corpse Explosion. Now that we've talked about the resources, let's take a look at their gear. In terms of thematics, it's the usual, but we also have confirmation of what type of equipment they can wield. And that's swords, daggers, wands, focuses and shields. As for their class specific item, it is a scythe, which seems to be a two-handed weapon from the little gameplay we've seen so far. But it has some awesome animations, as it is to be expected from the weapon for cool boys. When it comes to their different specializations or schools of magic if you will, there are four types. There's Bone Magic, Darkness, which is basically another way of saying Shadow Magic, Blood Magic and the Army. As a side note, curses have also been confirmed to be returning, and they focus on debuffs like Decrepify and Iron Maiden. Now let's go over each of the schools of magic and see how they work and how different they are from each other. Starting off with Bone Magic, we have more of a physical in nature damage type, and it seems to scale really well with critical strikes due to the added mechanics that take criticals into account for added effects. Bone skills tend to spend large amounts of essence and power up each other. One of those bone skills revealed is the Bone Spirit making a return. It spawns a spirit that seeks the nearest enemy and explodes, doing high amounts of damage to the target and an area around the impact. This skill has a cooldown and also consumes all your essence, dealing more damage the more essence it consumed. And it can even be upgraded, so when it critical strikes, its cooldown is significantly reduced, making for a very compelling playstyle of having high amounts of crit and good essence generation tools and then throw huge bone spirits. Another bone skill revealed is Bone Prison, and it does exactly what it seems. It creates a circular wall encasing an area, and as such it helps stack up enemies so then you can blow them up with AoE skills. Darkness skills on the other hand focus on shadow damage and at present are mostly damage over time effects and multi-hitting skills. It has also been confirmed to have many debuffs and crowd control effects. Decompose is one of the darkness skills, and it is a basic skill which automatically means it is focused on building essence. However, this one also summons extra corpses. The other darkness skill revealed was Blight, which is a skill shot in a direction that on impact or at the end of its range blows up and leaves an area which keeps taking damage as long as the enemy stands on it. The Blood Magic school seems to be centered around elf pools, and it is by nature more defensive. But this time there are ways to leverage it into a more offensive power as well. Blood Surge steals a small amount of HP from enemies around the caster and then explode, dealing increased damage the more targets it hit initially. Blood Mist transforms the caster into a fog cloud, becoming temporarily immune to all damage and draining HP from enemies he passes through. The Army is part of your toolkit focused on your summons. There are several types of skeletons and even golems, and, as expected, they synergize very well with every other school of magic. Decompose, for example, helps you out immensely by giving you more corpses to spend on your abilities. This time around, to have a maximum amount of minion skills, it only takes two buttons. One is tied to your skeletons and it summons all of them at once, while the other button is tied to your golems and it serves to activate its special ability depending on which type of golem you are using. When talking about the army, we have to talk about the Book of the Dead, which is the exclusive feature for Necromancers, and it allows you to customize your army. Here you have a bunch of options. For example, you can pick what type of skeletal warriors you want. There are skirmishers, which are your normal warrior type skeletons with low HP, defenders who have bonus health, or reapers, which are focused on slower attacks with frontal AoE cone damage, and a special wind up attack with high damage. On my last video I already talked about the skeletal mages options, but for those you can choose their magic type, and in both skeleton minion cases there are further options to change up how those minions help you out. Blizzard has also confirmed that the Book of the Dead has an option to sacrifice part of your armies to get permanent buffs, allowing for people to forego some of their minions to get more powerful effects. As you can see, Necromancer brings back many old favorites, but also has some very interesting new features, and overall seems to be looking like a very solid class. There's really only one issue with the arrival of the Necromancer, and that's the fact that people who were looking forward to monks, paladins and crusaders will have to wait and hope for a future update past release, and I'm one of those. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to comment, like and subscribe. I have more videos on the works, and I'm currently focused on going over more aspects of Diablo 4 and others on Diablo Immortal, which just had its first batch of Immortal players. So stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!